Hello, heroes. Joe Smith here. First of all, the following commentary, not necessarily a factual news report, even though facts of the matter will be mentioned or discussed, but the following commentary is meant to be satire. Satire, yes, satire. Is to show the hypocrisy of the liberal left and BLM and CNN and MSDNC and all them and the Democrats and whatnot. So, just like a lot of these commentaries that Joe Smith's done in the past have been meant to be satire to show the hypocrisy of certain groups, organizations, and whatnot, not necessarily the views and opinions of Joe Smith here. But it's happened again. Terius Jarrell Baker, I believe the name was, a racist black supremacist, tried crashing into a white Christmas parade in Winter Garden, Florida. Yes, just like that racist black supremacist Darrell E. Brooks Jr., who crossed state lines. Yes, state lines. And we all know how big of a deal it is. Just ask CNN and Don Lemon how big of a deal it is to cross state lines to commit a hate crime, especially a mass murder spree. Darrell E. Brooks crossed state lines from Nevada, where he was a convicted sex offender and probably not allowed to leave the state. He then crossed state lines to Utah, eventually through several other states, and crossed state lines into Wisconsin before he got in his assault weapon SUV that he transported across several state lines and run down a bunch of white people at a white gathering Christmas parade Christian group. So he committed a hate crime against Christianity. He committed a hate crime against white people. So therefore, he's a racist black supremacist. You know, just like Kyle Rittenhouse is a racist white supremacist, according to CNN and the liberals. Just like the Arbery's must be racist white supremacist militia members for confronting a suspected robber, thief, whatever, that they thought, even though they probably should not have. Joe Smith believes that they probably made poor choices in that matter, but believes that they aren't white supremacists or racists, just made some bad choices. But everyone on the left, and not all, but a lot of black people are claiming that, well, it must be because they're racist, white supremacist militia members is why they shot and killed a black man that charged at them after running a block at them, grabbed their gun and tried to turn their gun on them when he had ample opportunity to run in different directions, just like Prosecutor Binger would have said. He had plenty of opportunity to run at several other houses and ask for help. Just like Binger claimed Kyle Rittenhouse had plenty of opportunities to run in different directions to potentially escape Rosenbaum. Of course, we all know whatever direction Kyle would have ran in, he just wasn't as faster than Rosenbaum. Wouldn't have been outrunning Rosenbaum. He eventually would have been caught by him or someone else. That's beside the point right now. But that white cop that shot what was like a 15 or 16-year-old black girl in that driveway that was trying to stab other teenage black children. He was a racist for not because he saved the lives of several black children, but because he killed a black psychopath in the process. Just like Derek Chauvin must be a racist because George Floyd died while George Floyd was high on heroin and fentanyl in handcuffs, jumping out the opposite seat of the police car that he was put into. He slid across. He was put in one door on the driver's side actually, slid across the back seat and jumped out the passenger door and tried to run before being tackled and then died from his overdose. So those cops must be racist because of that. The Kenosha, Wisconsin cops said, well, according to what was Don Lemon and CNN, killed Jacob or whatever his name was, which Jacob's actually very much alive now, despite CNN claiming he was killed by these racist white cops. Well, these white cops didn't kill him. Jacob is very much alive. And it says he admits to making bad choices that day when he picked up the knife when the cops told him not to and to stop and not to enter his vehicle or open the door of this vehicle, leaving the officers no choice but to shoot him, which eventually caused all the Kenosha, Wisconsin riots, or mostly peaceful protests, depending if you're a Democrat. That led up to the Kyle Rittenhouse incident. But every time a black person, even though that black person may be committing a felony, may be trying to murder someone at the time, is killed, and maybe justly, by a white person, all of a sudden that white person is a racist, according to the Democrats and the mainstream media nowadays. Well, then I guess that means that anytime a white person is killed by a black person, that black person must be racist. Just like Darrell E. Brooks was racist black supremacist that crossed multiple state lines to murder people in a white Christmas parade Waukesha or something, Wisconsin. And just today now, Winter Garden, Florida, another racist black supremacist tried murdering a bunch of white people in a mass murder spree by trying to repeat Darrell E. Brooks' actions by using his assault weapon vehicle to try and crash into a Christmas parade. And just a couple weeks ago, there was a Temple University student that was murdered by a black person, and a couple other white people that were murdered by black people that week as well. So, for you liberals out there, you Democrats out there, progressives, whatever you want to call yourself, CNN, Don Lemon, MSDNC, CNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, mainstream media, if you want to call all white people racist, well, guess any time a black person kills a white person, it must mean the black person is racist too, because, you know, equality. So, if you want to play that game, we can play that game. Because there's 20 times as many white people murdered by black people in America than black people killed by white people. And according to that, that means black people are 20 times as racist as white people. Or we can quit this bullshit racist name calling everyone racist, when in reality it had nothing to do with it. The Arbery case, McMichaels were confronting someone that they thought was a thief, robber, burglar, whatever you want to call it. If Arbery was white, the McMichaels probably would have done the same thing. Skin color had nothing to do with that. McMichaels probably shouldn't have confronted Arbery. He probably made some bad choices that day, even though it's up to debate on whether or not they had a legal right to, according to the citizen arrest law in their state. But still, even if they had a legal right, they probably shouldn't have. But they're not racist. And it wasn't a racist lynching or hate crime like all these liberals are calling it. You want to know what a racist lynching was? That black person that tried to crash into that Winter Garden parade today in Florida, or Derry Brooks crashing into that parade in Wisconsin. Or that Temple University student, that white Temple student that was killed by that black guy a couple weeks ago. So, you liberals still want to play this game? Or can we stop calling cops racist just because they are forced to shoot a black person that's reaching for or using a weapon against them or against a child at the time? Okay, that white cop that shot that girl that was trying to stab those teenage black kids, that driveway several months, a year ago, whenever that was, it's not a racist. Quit calling one. Derek Chauvin or the other Minnesota cops, they weren't racist. If George Floyd was white and done the same thing, acted the same way, they wouldn't have treated him any different. Maybe they were wrong in some of their actions, but it wasn't because he was black. Because he was high on drugs, resisting arrest. After 20 minutes trying to put him into handcuffs in the police car, he's still trying to escape. If he was white, they probably would have done the same thing, whether or not their actions were justified or a little over the top. Well, maybe they were over the top, but it wasn't because George Floyd was black. It's because he was trying to escape still after some 20 minutes. So Joe Smith here just so freaking tired of everyone calling everyone a racist here. If you want to call everyone a racist, and Joe Smith can point out a lot of times a lot of black people committed a lot of crimes and even murders against a lot of white people, including 2 recent parade crashing events. So it's going to be just as easy to accuse all these black criminals of being racist, supremacists committing hate crimes at the same time. You know, instead of accusing everyone of being racist, let's just say that person made a bad choice. That person committed a crime. They didn't commit the crime because they're racist. They didn't make the bad choice because of someone else's skin color. The choices yours for any of you liberals out there listening to this. We keep calling it the racist name game. And we can point out all the racists on the other side. Or we can quit calling everyone racist and just say that, yeah, he committed a crime. Or that McMichaels made some bad choices that day. Or maybe Derek Chauvin and was a little bit rough despite George Floyd still trying to escape custody after 20 minutes of trying to detain or arrest him. And that officer that was forced to shoot and unfortunately kill that black psychopath girl that was trying to stab and murder all those other black children in that driveway several months or a year ago. He didn't wake up that morning begging, praying, asking to go kill a black person or a child or anyone. He was put in that situation by a psychopath. That was in the foster care of that home because she was a psychopath. I hope you heroes understand the point, the message that Joe Smith's trying to get across here to everyone. Just tired of everyone automatically assuming everyone else is a racist just because they may have committed a crime or made a bad choice. And Joe Smith, signing out.